Okay, we're going to set up new locations. So location is a little bit different than a class when it comes to QuickBooks Online because a location sits only at the header of a transaction, right? So when you put in a transaction and it's tied to location, the entire transaction will be tied to that location, okay? The locations can be on reports, right? So I can go into my profit and loss report and I can total my columns by location. But again, there's only one when we look at it. So if I go into do an invoice as an example, and we'll take a look at this. When you have class field, you have classes at the line level, right? When you have a location field, it's only in the header, which means all lines will fall under that particular location. Okay, so let's go ahead and set these up. A lot of times why my customers will use locations, they'll mostly use them for different areas in their business, right? So maybe they have a Austin, Dallas, and Houston location, and so they're pretty powerful to be able to kind of segment in a different way data. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my locations list and add a new one. One of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to show you the effect of each of these locations. So I'm going to go ahead and set up Austin. And I'm going to say Austin is a sub-location of Texas. So we can see the results of that. And then I'm going to say this location has a different title, right, for sales forms. So instead of QBO Advanced Fourlane, which is the name of my company, this is going to be called Fourlane Austin. And then we can say this location has a different company name when communicating with customers. So again, Fourlane Austin. So we have seen people who have multiple locations that brand them separately still use this. This location has a different address. So I'm going to put in 123 ABC Street just so that we can see it. This location has a different email address, so I will say austin@fourlane.com. And then this location has a different phone number, so I will just put in 888-123-1234 and save. Well, okay, it gave me an error because I didn't have the parent already set up. Now in QuickBooks, we're used to being able to just set it up on the fly, but this one made me go set up Texas first. So make sure the parent is set up. So I'm going to go ahead and say save. So you can see I have Texas, and then I have Austin underneath of Texas. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a secondary one called Colorado, or let's do New York, just way far away, and say save. And I'm going to do underneath of New York, I'm going to add in Manhattan. Hope I spelled that right. And it's a sublocation of New York. So you can see how you can kind of build up this structure in there. Okay, so let's take a look at the first thing. So on sales forms, so when we go into create an invoice, all right, I can select a customer, add a new customer in here. So I selected my customer, and then I can choose my location. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Austin in here and put down below what is my product and services. So I'm going to just do services for $9,000. And of course I can choose a class here, but we're not focused on class yet. So I'm going to go ahead and say save. Okay, gives me all the tips. And then let's go ahead and do print or print preview. Now you can see when I print preview on here, I can zoom in a little bit. So we've got Fourlane Austin, so it shows the different name there. Fourlane Austin, 123 ABC Street, austin@fourlane.com. So there's that email address. So different titles on the forms. Also, if I were to go ahead and try to send this invoice, okay, got it, all the things. And it just went straight out. I don't have email set up in my sample file here. But when you try to send the forms out, of course, it's going to be coming from your Austin@Fourlane email address. so that you can make sure, to have consistency for your customers and not confuse them. Also, so that when they reply, right, it goes to the appropriate email or the appropriate inbox for whoever manages Austin app versus Manhattan app. All right, so I did one sale there. I'm going to go ahead and create a secondary invoice to another customer here. Let's go to Bridget, and we're going to do for Manhattan and put in some services again at $5,000 and say save. All my pop-ups, all my pop-ups. So now let's go ahead down into our reports now that we have two tied to the two different locations that we have set up. So I have my profit and loss report, and if I total it instead by location and I run my report, you can see here how I have New York had none, right? Manhattan had some, total New York, which is New York and Manhattan. Texas had none. Austin had some, total Texas. Has it here. So you can see how this is a really effective way to be able to run and segment out reports for the company at the header level. So those are how to turn on and also how to utilize locations.